10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the February 6th edition of the Thursday Night Thunder podcast with AJ and MMK. This is episode 12 of the series. I'm your host, Jason Sinclair. Tonight on the most hardcore program on the internet, Michael and I once again bring you the best discussion about the world of modern motorsports. As the 63rd Rolex 24 at Daytona wasn't even over yet, the international YouTube live stream of the race has already amassed more than 2 million views. The 2005 season opener marked the end of the first year of IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship races streaming live on YouTube. In that time, the channel experienced exponential growth as new fans and viewers both domestically and globally have continued to discover the series through additional digital content. Starting at the 2024 Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring, with a softly launched first race stream on IMSA's official YouTube channel. The momentum has steadily built over that period and is appearing to reach a crescendo, with the first Daytona viewing on the channel. The Sebring race provided a starting point, with 21,000 peak concurrent views and 505,000 total live views, for what was essentially a trial run to see how a WeatherTech Championship race would appear on the platform. As the anticipation built for the start of the first Rolex 24 to be streamed on IMSA's YouTube channel to an international audience, the viewership appeared before honorary starter Koji Watanabe, president of Honda Racing Corporation, even waved the green flag to start the race. She was just there, I saw her. Anyway, looks like our co-host is missing for a second, but let's go ahead and continue here. Before the race started, 20,000 people were waiting before the race went live. Once the race was underway, the race had a new peak concurrent viewership number of 72,000. The YouTube feed achieved a milestone number of live views by the end of Saturday, with over 1 million views. It got even better Sunday morning, with that number elapsing over 2 million live views. On the whole, the IMSA YouTube channel has nearly tripled in subscribers in the last 12 months, and is approaching 730,000 subscribers as the Rolex 24 neared its conclusion. The domestic broadcast continued on NBC and Peacock in the U.S. as part of a long-term partnership extended for multiple years. Alongside it, YouTube growth on the digital front has been a remarkable success story. Beyond their national race coverage, the channel has also grown along with the popular YouTube docuseries Win the Weekend, presented by Michelin. The third season of Win the Weekend is set to premiere shortly after the Rolex 24, with content captured during the weekend set to feature. Both series have delivered more than 15 million views to help increase the subscriber count and grow the IMSA audience.
The remainder of the 63rd Rolex 24 at Daytona continues to stream on the official IMSA YouTube channel to the finish, alongside the NBC and Peacock feeds for domestic TV. Our first guest tonight is Caden Honeycutt. Caden Honeycutt's number 45 Chevrolet Silverado RST will continue to adorn familiar branding associated with Precision Vehicle Logistics, Autoventive, and DQS Solutions and staffing as the team announces a partnership renewal for the upcoming race season.
Honeycutt, who enters his first full-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series campaign, is scheduled to race with the partner's primary support for the majority of the 25 race calendar, including the season opener at Daytona National Speedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season kicks off at Daytona National Speedway on Friday, February 14th. Fox Sports 1 will cover the Fresh from Florida 250 live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're scheduled to welcome Caden Honeycutt to the program momentarily. He has not yet joined us, so we're going to give him a moment. But hopefully it's a good night here for Caden, and I know he had a busy schedule last week with some sponsor commitments, and we're going to talk a little bit about that this evening. So it should be a good time. I don't know if having the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Valentine's Day night is exactly the best thing for their ratings, but they've worked it out stuff like that before, so we'll see how that goes. Should be pretty interesting. I know I probably will not be watching it because I believe it's 7:30 p.m. on Friday the 14th. I'll be out to dinner at a good place down in downtown West Palm Beach on Cabana Street, and I don't think they're going to have the race on at that time. They might. But if they do, I'm probably not going to be watching Brevet. But I'm kind of looking forward to the NASCAR race there at Daytona. The best cross truck series races I've seen have been Daytona. As I stated before a couple weeks ago, the best truck race I saw there at Daytona was on the road course, and I hope they do that again at some point. Again, we're currently standing by for Caden Honeycutt to join us on the program tonight. He was slated to be on at this time. I did let his PR guy know, and so he should be on momentarily. Let's go ahead and see if hitting the little fancy button will do anything fancy here. And he did not appear. I thought he might. It would be kind of funny. Anyway, we're getting ready for another good time with our guests this evening. We currently have two scheduled to be on the show. We've got Caden Honeycutt here at a little after 8, and then we've got Jason Pribyl coming up in the second half of the hour. Actually, shortly before second half hour, like 8:25 p.m., something like that. So, should be a good show. We've got lots of amazing people scheduled to be on the program. We're going to go ahead and hold off on Caden for a moment here. Hopefully, he gets on with this shortly. Let me go ahead and mention the fact that the Miami Concourse, one of the country's premier automotive events, will be returning to our Miami Design District for its 8th edition on Sunday, February 16th, 2025. That's next Sunday. This year's event will feature the largest display of the world's fastest post-war automobiles, including record-breaking icons such as the McLaren F1, Bugatti Veyron Supersport, Koenigsegg CCX, Rough CTR Yellowbird, and others. These groundbreaking vehicles, all of which share speed records, will be showcased along 40th Street, cementing Miami Concourse as the ultimate destination for automotive enthusiasts.
Produced by HXE Cute and presented in partnership with DuPont Registry Group, the Concourse Group, and Miami Design District, the 2025 Miami Concourse will expand its footprint with an enhanced lineup of VIP programming, curated activations, and immersive experiences. Notable highlights include the More Miami VIP experience, an exclusive lounge featuring product showcases, hospitality, and members-only amenities, the Enclave at Jungle Plaza, a vibrant public hub featuring automotive installations, DJ performances, pop-ups, and culinary vendors, District Sounds, February 17th, a public open-air concert produced by Emilio Estefan featuring the Miami Symphony Orchestra and special performances, a philanthropic focus. This year's concourse will support Ride to Revive, a nonprofit dedicated to providing uplifting experiences for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families.
Should be a really good event there down in Miami next weekend. I have yet to head down to the Design District. I know that's where they've got a lot of events for the Formula One race coming up there in Miami. Will be taking place in the Miami Design District. And they also have some food and wine events that take place down there, probably in the next couple of weeks as part of the South Beach Food and Wine thing. And I've got at least one event at the Design District there. Plus, got a bunch of great restaurants and that sort of stuff. So it's a great part of town to hang out in. If you haven't had a chance, I'd recommend going down there. It's really not that far from downtown West Palm. You can take the Bright Line down there to the Miami Central Station, and that gives you right in the middle of everything. Parking is always an issue in downtown Miami, so I'd advise taking the train, whether you take Bright Line, whether you take the Tri-Rail, or however you manage to get down there. It's always a good time in downtown Miami, especially now it's getting a lot better. So that's a good thing. As I stated, we're going to be heading down there for the Formula One race. We might do some pre-race stuff down there in Miami, and if we do, I'll go ahead and let you guys know. It should be really, really cool. Hopefully it's a good event, and hopefully they've got a lot of awesome stuff set up for the Miami Concourse. They do have events like that up in the Palm Beach area here. All sorts of things such as that. The past, I believe it was like 3 weeks ago now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, they had the Supercar Sunday, or Supercar Saturday, rather. No, it was Supercar Sunday. Supercar Sunday there on Flagler, at the foot of the Flagler Avenue there in downtown West Palm, right between, I believe it's between Clematis and Okeechobee. So that would have been a neat thing to head out at. We've been there several years now. We haven't always gone, but we did go the past few years. This year I'm trying to limit my walking a little bit, but it's not doing a great job of that lately, but I am trying to limit it a little bit more, so I'm not doing quite as much walking around, that sort of thing. But we're going to go ahead and keep working on it. We keep every step is a good step in the right direction here, and that's kind of the attitude I have to have right now. So we did do a lot of walking there in Daytona, and we're definitely going to be doing more walking at the racing probably next month. I think we're heading up to Sebring. That's sort of the plan as of right now, and a few of the races as well on the calendar. We're going to be going overseas shortly, going away for a week to the Bahamas, which is why we're not going to have the show in about a month. We'll actually be taking a couple of days off the show. Next week is, of course, the Valentine's Day week. We're not going to be having a show next week because we've got some other events taking place around the holiday. So, but we're looking forward to having you guys join us again the week after next. Got a couple of guests lined up for that as well. And so we're hoping that all works out. Again, we're standing by for Caden Honeycutt. He's supposed to be on the show tonight, and if he's not, we got the other guests coming up in the second half of the show anyway. We're hoping that Honeycutt comes on. I know that they knew that it was Eastern time. I let them know of that and everything else. So again, we're going to go ahead and get this going as soon as we can with Caden Honeycutt, if possible. And if not, we'll go ahead with Jason Pribyl when he calls in shortly. So let's go ahead and bring up some local news about the racing front, shall we? As all you guys know, we've done some work in the past with the Palm Beach International Raceway. We had the relationship with them for a little while when we knew AJ and MMK, who was the PR woman there at the Palm Beach International Raceway, who moved on to Trans Am and other things after that. But at the time when the IHRA owned Palm Beach International, we were able to go and work with them some. We actually had the Miss Nitro Jam on this program a few times, and we talked to other people from the International Hot Rod Association, which was awesome. And then, of course, in 2022, the Palm Beach International Raceway ceased to exist. It closed in April 2022. They had a nice big blowout thing. It was kind of cool and all that. At that point, they were intending on selling it and then turning it into like an interior port type thing where they have storage for big rigs and those sort of trucking things. If you have been out there, you know that is a logical place to put one of those, but it's also still kind of in the middle of nowhere for Palm Beach County, and it's a good place to have a racetrack. And I think that's what they realized now again, because a few weeks ago, actually probably about, I think it was the beginning of this year, right at, the track was brought up for sale again for offers, basically a name your own price type thing. And the court will decide who the winner is because the previous owners, the IRSC, which was a division of the International Hot Rod Association, went bankrupt, and the land is now for sale. So there's been some movement, good movement for those who are race fans here in South Florida, and for those who are fans just of grassroots racing altogether. Would be happy to know that the guys from the South Georgia Motorsports Park have come down. They were at the track on Monday to do an inspection of Palm Beach International Raceway, and they seemed pleased. They seemed rather pleased with the fact that it looked pretty good. They're going to go ahead and put in an offer, and fingers crossed, they end up winning the offer, and soon we'll have another viable racetrack here in the Palm Beaches. That'd be awesome. Because there is currently no viable racetrack in Palm Beach County. You have to travel to Hendry for the dirt racing, which is probably about 2 hours from here, an hour and a half, I suppose, on a really good day. Or you travel south to Homestead for the racing there. Again, that's probably about 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours down the road. Or you travel to Bradenton, which could be as much as 5 hours from here. Probably about 4.5 on a really good day, 4 on a good day. But there's nothing in the Palm Beaches anymore, and there used to be an awesome facility there on the Beeline Highway for professional drivers, for amateur drivers, for weekend warriors, for people who want to just go out there and run their fastest time they could in their own car. They had a way to do that. So again, we're hoping that Palm Beach International Raceway is the future. We're probably going to reach out to South Georgia Motorsports Park. We have reached out to them in the past, and they've been pretty good, but they've never actually been on the show. They have sent me information in the past for my writing for Speedway Digest and a little bit for other, I believe the West Palm Beach Motorsports Examiner. I had some stuff that was sent to me by them. So We're hoping to hear from them shortly and see how they're doing there in their pursuit of the Palm Beach International Raceway. That would be pretty cool to have the raceway reopen again. I have my fingers crossed. They'd be neat. The best event I ever saw out there was, of course, the Pro Winter Warm Up. So that a couple times. The Nitro Jam was pretty cool. We saw that out there when I was really little. The Citrus Nationals was really great when they actually had that as almost a national type event where they brought in alcohol drag series and even some fuel guys, not only alcohol, funny cars with top fuel funny cars and that sort of thing. So it'll be neat to have that around the corner from us again. Hoping that happens. Track looked good. The fact that they did sell the grandstands, that's not surprising. They sold out their electronics, but they do still have the scoreboards out there. So all they need to do is that they need to do is pick up the grandstands and do some wiring and that sort of thing. But at least there's bones there. It's a good track. It's got a good history, and everybody around Palm Beach's racers down here in South Florida, probably as far north as the Tallahassee area people came from, far south of the Keys. There's actually people who come here from other countries as well, from the Caribbean and from Mexico and some South American people. So hopefully it comes back. Yeah, I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed. Again, we're kind of standing by for Caden Honeycutt here. Races for Nice Motorsports in the Craftsman Truck Series. He's scheduled to be on the program this evening. And again, if he's not on shortly, we're going to go ahead and talk to Jason Pribyl. Now, I told you what the big racing news here in the Palm Beaches is. Is there any big racing news out where you are? I know you mentioned that there was a track closure that you weren't expecting that happening out there in your neck of the woods.
There was. It was just really out of the blue, and I don't know, I haven't really read too much more about it other than supposedly the land got sold or something to a fencing company or something, and they're not sure that they want, a racetrack on their fencing land. So I don't know. It sucks, when you lose a track, it just sucks. So other than that, there's no real new. I know some of the seasons are going to be starting up in April. I say some of the seasons, but now there's really only one track to follow the schedule for. So that kind of starts in April. So we got a little while here before anything really starts. But to touch on your IHRA stuff, we have a drag strip in Spokane, Washington, which is like an hour and a half from us. And the IHRA used to actually go there. And actually, if I remember correctly, it was a while ago. But anyways, my dad and I went there for the show. And so I think it's kind of neat that the IHRA is making sort of a comeback. I think that that's really great.
Yeah, they have a good management team there. They had their issues a few years ago. They've got a good management team. They've got a good plan for the future. I actually believe they're going to have some advertisement they're going to bring up during the Super Bowl. It won't be everywhere, but there'll definitely be a few spots where they're going to talk a little bit more on the HRA. So that'll be interesting to see what they have there. Whether they actually run the thing nationally or whether you actually have to look it up online because it'll be released on Sunday. But they've got some news there with the IHRA. It's going to be should be a good thing. The IHRA and the World Drag Racing Association just had a deal today to work together. So could be a good thing, and hopefully we have some drag racing over here in the Palm Beaches again before too long. I know it'll be a while before they get the track rebuilt. The earliest I'd probably think would be next season, but that's if everything goes perfectly this year with them. And it is still really early in the year, it's just being February now. So hopefully everything goes well, and hopefully it's a good time in the world of modern motorsports there, that the people who appreciate it and they'll be able to come out for it. And with that, let's go ahead and move on in the show here. Our next guest tonight could be our first guest. You never know, it looks like. But anyway, is Jason Pribyl. And Jason is on the line. He's going to be competing this year in England. He's a 19-year-old racer out of Glenview, Illinois. He began his career in the SCCA, made his way into USF Pro Championships competitions, and most recently has been making his overseas debut in the US Formula Ford in England. For 2025, he plans to race in the GB4 Series with Series newcomer ADM. So, Jason, thanks for coming back on the show tonight. It's great to have you on here.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm sure hopefully we'll have a variety of input on guests today, but yeah, it's good to be back.
First off, can you tell us a little bit more about the GB4?
Yeah, so GB4, a lot like, I guess you could describe it sort of like in the same way that Formula Regionals would operate. So you have the lower version of F3, which, generally lower horsepower, things like that. But essentially it, is, designated to one specific area, one country, one continent, things like that. GB4 operates like that, but it's an F4 series. So you could sort of compare it to the difference between USF Juniors or USF 2000 and USF 4 for the Americans. And we operate sort of, alongside as an F4 series to British F4. It's a series that runs with, that supports GB3, which is a great stepping stone for FIA F3, and some have even gone straight to FIA F2. And we race alongside British GT as well.
What's it like being an American competing overseas?
It's a lot of fun, actually. I think the biggest part is that you're kind of a fish out of water in a lot of ways, and people see that. So being able to operate in a new environment and kind of, explore different possibilities and, explore different types of racing and different cultures and things like that, it's a lot of fun to be able to do. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges that come with it. So, for myself, I went to the UK last year and really didn't know anybody there. But what I had to do was just get to the track, and even if I wasn't racing, I would be at the track most weekends trying to introduce myself to people, shake hands and such, and try to build my network outside of the US, which was a challenge, but it turned out to be a lot of fun over the course of the season.
How has your racing interest changed after spending a bit of time in Europe?
I think I think it's hard to say that it's given me more hope, because I don't know if I want to sound so detrimental to that, but being able to race in the UK has kind of given me a lot more appreciation for the sport and how much other people really devote their time and their energy and their effort to racing. In the US, we don't really have that kind of thing, at least with formula cars. And I don't get to see that while living up north when it comes to stock car racing. So it's something that a lot of people and pretty much everybody knows about to some extent in the UK and just in Europe in general. People know about Formula One. They make a point to watch the races every weekend or go to the races where possible. A lot of people I met, on the street work for Formula One teams or other racing teams like that. So it's a lot of fun to kind of be around that environment.
What's your goal for this season?
It's tough to say. I mean, ultimately it's to, use this season as a springboard for next season. I think that's sort of my ultimate goal every year, is to make sure that I have a season afterwards. And that comes with both, the performance of myself, and then how I can manage being able to, fund the following season and, move up the ladder in a reasonable way. I think, given